Hello, welcome to another episode of the GNPS. Mina, Generali. As always, pleasant petty guest, a dope. Kunala, Amany, a dope. Kota wonka dope. Mina, General. Once again, sitting across me is Bornwell. Welcome, brother man.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, my man. Thank you for taking your time.
Yeah, finally. It took how many months? I did an episode, not Pindile, last year in September, August.
Yeah.
And she told me about it. By the way, Uspindila was on episode, please remind me, 56 of the GNPS.
Yeah.
So you can go back if you're wondering what is Kumangoba.
Yeah.
But I'll let you explain who is Uspindila to you, and then we'll pick up the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah. No, that's, I wouldn't even say my girlfriend. That's my baby mother. It's,
Come closer.
Yeah,
Bring
showcase.
your chair in.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's,
Sunday, Mike.
Yeah, showcase. Yeah. That's my girlfriend. That's my baby mother. And if nothing else, that is, as disturbing in life as COVID-19, that per se, my future wife, I would say. Yeah. That's pretty much. And I mean, we've been together for a while.
I had so many good stories about you,
Yeah.
bro, in that episode.
Yeah.
Where Uspindile shared with us how when she needed a time away from the kids or from the family so that she could go further her dreams overseas.
Yeah.
Nothing broke? Yeah? No ways. I see a laptop on the floor. Nonetheless, but we keep it going. I had a lot of good things about you, bro. You stepped in when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
And that's something that's rare, especially amongst men.
Yeah.
Uguti, when the mother of your kids needs time so she could go empower herself,
showcase,
and build herself.
Yeah.
A man would like, hey, don't worry, these are my kids.
Yeah.
I'll handle it.
Yeah.
You go do your thing.
Yeah.
Is that something that you were taught, or is it your understanding of being a father?
I would say it's pretty much both, in a sense that I grew up in a house where the father is always there. So before I even knew what I was doing, now that you explain it, it was always there. I would say pretty much subconsciously, And secondly, as you said, they're my children too. You know, I mean, I don't think that should be hard, because you can't just look at them and not see that, because it lies way beyond just you. You know what I mean? I have this belief that the children present a future you, in a sense that it's not just them. You have to think about children that are out of sight. I mean, grandchildren all the way down. And I have a belief that family is everything, bro, beyond, anything that you can actually achieve, because it goes a very long way. I mean, in a sense that it goes even way out of sight. No matter how much imagination you have, you can never really see how far it goes. And whatever your actions are now will affect children that will never know you, per se. Well, nowadays you have social media, internet keep everything there. So, of course, they will see how you lived and whatever the heck. But if you have to think of yourself, I think myself as well, I think probably everyone else who's alive today, you don't know your grandfather.
You
know what I mean?
That's true.
But whatever decision he took shaped who you are today. It might seem invisible. Of course, you don't see it. But that's like the trick in life, that the most important things are pretty much invisible. So it was not a hard decision, because I love my children, man, and they love me. So what else is there to do? And I love my girlfriend, and it was not much of that part was complicated. The complicated part was like, okay, now she's going away, and I have to do this thing.
You have to
Yeah, like
be an all-rounder.
the only one that you want to do it right. Then when she comes back, the children are good and we all good, basically. And that means also taking care of myself. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What are some of the most important values that you instill or you like to make sure which they last beyond your existence and your kids?
I don't try to think about it in that sense. I just think it's a matter of taking one step at a time. It's actually they teach me that more than I think I try to teach them that, because you see what the kids is interested to, and what the kids is into, and the kind of question they ask. It's not a matter, because if you're gonna do it like that, then it becomes a one-way road that you're trying to, or instill something in someone. I believe that everyone is born with something in them. You can either try to nurture that thing, but you cannot uproot it and instill your own, because that's exactly the mistake most parents make as far as kids concerned, is that you don't see this person as the person. Like, he's actually alive and just has his own life that has nothing to do with you. That reminds me of something by I forget the author, but he says something that your children are not yours. They might come through you, but they don't come from you. You know what I mean? Give them your love, but don't try to give them your thoughts. You see what I mean? Don't do that, because life is different and they have challenges that they will face, which there are a lot of things that play a part in that. The time they live in, the challenge they face, you might be outdated as far as that. So the only way to get updated is to actually pay much more attention to what they say and what they see. And they always have a lot of questions. You answer those questions as best as you can, And of course, they look at mostly beyond what you can tell them is what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So true.
So if you want your children to be whatever that you wish them to be, then be that person, rather. You don't have to have, I don't mean that you have to go hustle and have money and all those things. I mean, it's just the simplest things: how to handle a conversation, how to handle disagreements, how to understand simple things, Yeah. If there's anything that I instill, will be ask, don't assume, mostly. If, anything that you say, ask. If you're not sure of something, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Based on what you're telling me now, it makes me want to ask further questions around in terms of like discipline, like, because we all know kids are they very explorative, like they want to explore things. So sometimes the exploration could lead to some sort of negative consequences. And then obviously those are moments of where you as a parent, you could be in a position where you feel like, okay, this is not right. Obviously then comes in the issue of discipline. So I just want to find out how you handle that with your kids.
I'll tell you, bro, like if they were here, because actually we had to turn them back. They'll be here. They will tell you that they can count whenever I lay their hand on them. It's not that I'm saying those that do they are wrong, but first, before you install any other sort of discipline, you have to understand one thing, that children are new in this world. They just came in. That's why they are children, and they would like to explore. And, and what happens is that the mistake that parents make is to try to teach the children not to make the same mistake as they made. You know what I mean? But that aside, the problem is this. With that discipline, you must be careful in the sense that you also don't kill curiosity. Because curiosity goes a very long way. We're talking about people going to space. It's because they started at a very young age to be curious. If a kid does something wrong, rather be curious. What were you trying to do? What exactly were you trying to do? Then the kid will tell, no, I was trying to do A and B and C. Dad, and then no, A and B and C is not done like this. It's done this way. And they are actually very fast learners. As long as the first thing that you instill It's not fear. Because a lot of things goes on in their head when you're going to install fear first, then a lesson later. You know what I mean? First, it must be a lesson. It must be, the kid must have that room with, I can make mistakes. Not arrogant and not out of disrespect, just because they are children. And it's never as personal as most people take it or most parents take it. They are children. I mean, you can't expect a child to live as you live and understand whatever that you understand. You know, that's just...
You have so many years ahead of you.
Yes, and besides, it just shows that you as a parent yourself, you are actually a child because you don't really understand that. I mean, when you see a kid, you should somehow look at, that was once you. And you are that's pretty much still you in a sense that you still make a vast of mistakes, bro. You know what I mean? You still make there are a lot of things that you're a child about. You know, would you like to be punished by like that out of ignorance? Because another thing is that they don't do anything out of, they don't set out just to hurt you. So why would you take that personal? Rather find that, what were you trying to do? What is it? Teach rather than anything else, you know? Yeah, as I said, it's not much of what a parent can do. I think it's more about, are you willing to learn? You know what I mean? Because you can learn a lot from children.
True.
A whole lot than you can actually learn from adults.
Yeah.
A whole lot if you have an eye for it. It's not a gift. It's something that you teach yourself. Yeah.
It makes me wonder just one thing, like, you know, how was your upbringing? Like when Usakula, I mean, take us back. Where did you grow up? And I mean, like, you've already explained what your father was a present father. Yeah. So, I mean,
still is.
You know, still is. All those things. For me, you know, being somebody that grew up and did not have, you know, my father, not that I did not have a father figure present, but like, you know,
right there,
you know, I never had like my father right there, like, you know, oh no, son, don't do this, don't do that, like do this, like how you are for your kids, even, you know, somebody who's there because they want to help you figure your way out in terms of impilo. Yeah. So I just wanna know more, if it's okay with you.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Starting from where you were born, and then we'll take it.
No, I was born. I'm from Jozini, Jozini, and that's how I was born and bred, pretty much. And I think when I finished matric from that side, I went to Mpangeni. I lived there. EMP, I played a very huge role in my life. But family-wise, I learned a lot of things without knowing that I was learning them. One of them, though, as I said, is that family is everything. You know, and your father, you have to be there. You know what I mean? And by all means, you have to keep that relationship going. And the mother also have to be there. You know? These things, I didn't learn them at the time when they're happening. I learned them from, I would say pretty much, I read a lot. You know, so my mind goes vast in that sense. That's where I would say I realized the importance of them, you know, from books and all other things that I engage my mind in. You know, I don't think anything is much more important than family. So it's not something I would say I can pinpoint to certain education. I think as much as you can learn it, because there are a lot of people that grow up with fathers as well, but they will not do what I do. And you probably also be a better father than someone who grew up with a father, maybe even a good father, you know. But self-education, and it's the most important part of it all, you know. It does not come, it's not a gift or something you can inherit from your parents to be a good parent or try to be a good parent, because I cannot sit here and say I'm a good parent. Only my children can say that, you know, because I might be doing what I'm doing and they might be thinking what, you know what I mean?
We can also say the same thing.
Sure, so,
because we onlookers and we that's good parenting.
You know what I mean? So only them can say that. Not me. They'll be very ignorant and, you know, So, man, it's not one point. But, I learned a lot from my parents without them teaching me, just leaving. You know, because I never had a conversation with dad. Well, until now that we're grown, we can sit down and talk about things. But when we're growing up, how I treat my children is not how we were treated. But it's not pretty much his fault. It was the times that he lived in. And I'm sure by the time he lived in, he felt like, okay, what he was doing was even better than the times that he lived in. You know what I mean? That's because you also have to pay attention to that. The times that you live in and what it means to be a father at that time. You know what I mean? And the responsibilities differ. And yeah, if you go back, fathers never really had that much relationship with their sons in the sense. Even if they did, it was different from what we have now. You know what I mean? So yeah, all of these things, they play their own part. Or you have to be aware of all of these things. Yeah.
You know, for me, like, you know, if we look at our country,
Yeah.
there's a scourge of gender-based violence,
Yeah.
and I feel like the biggest contributor
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
folder,
Yeah.
so to say, is purely due to lack of male role models or father figures.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you grow up in a household where your mom is beaten up every day,
Yeah.
like you said, it depends on the time that you're in and the place that you're in.
Yeah.
It's easy for you to think that's how you should treat people that you love or a woman that's in your life.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a big deal when I see, I mean guys my age or even older or younger who take care of their families and their kids and actually want to be role models to their kids, and they make sure they there. The least that you can do is just being there. Don't you think if us as men prioritized being good fathers, you know, by being different from the norms that we may be used to, we could somewhat help, you know, diminish the stats in terms of gender-based violence?
With gender-based violence, it's I'll say this. I think what you said it's actually right on its own. All right, don't get me wrong on that point. It's actually right on its own. Everyone has to play whatever part they have to play. But with gender violence, I feel that there is like a narrowed way of looking at it. It's just one view's getting out that men are just, you know what I mean, the one that are actually making this happen. The truth of it, dog, is that everyone is actually playing their part in it. It's just that you know, that's not the things that have been highlighted. You know what I mean? You know? Because I wouldn't say men are right, no women are right, but if the woman or anybody in a relationship know the value of family, it's less likely that will actually abandon that, you know? And there is no way something could happen to somebody, that's a law of nature, without somebody actually playing a part in it, you know? It's very hard to actually, if you narrow it down and you actually look at it very close, it's not always similar cases. A man may leave their woman or whatever, may be violent, but it's not as if women themselves are innocent of it, you know? And when I say innocent, I don't mean that they beat up men, but psychologically they can do so. And even if it's so, it lies way beyond even the men themselves or women, because everyone has rights these days. All these things that we believe in, they play a very big part in that, in having a family, because everyone nowadays is independent. Everyone is doing what they want to do. You know, if I'm not happy, then I should leave. Imagine if you're not happy, then you should leave. You know, what is your happiness in why should your happiness matter more than family? Not that you shouldn't be you should be unhappy, or you know what I mean, not to scratch out that. Of course happiness is important, but differences are there everywhere that you can go. you know. But I think if the higher goal is there, because it's not like when you're putting family together, it's always nice. There are challenges, and those challenges will always be there, you know, in anything that you choose, even if you choose to be independent or whatever the heck you can choose. And and it's not as much that women themselves, as I said, they don't play a part in this. And maybe I may be heard wrong in this part. I know, because it's a very touchy and a very sensitive.
Topic,
but let me just put it this way. Whatever happens in your life, know that you play a part in it, regardless of whether you like to believe it or not. You played your part in it. And secondly, of course, you will feel right because that everybody says, everybody's thinking in a sense of a head. You know what I mean? Like a group of cars. Yeah, there's that certain mentality that, okay, something is wrong.
Mentality.
Yes, if something is wrong, something is wrong. And you know what I mean? And it becomes even harder for the person to say, where did I go wrong? Me, I myself. How did I push that man away? You know what I mean? How did we get here? Because I don't think it's actually possible that someone can start beating you up when you already have a kid. You must have seen signs of violence very early. But you decided to stay for your own reasons. Maybe he's got a car, maybe you get discomfort, or you are afraid all of a sudden, I've been saying, my
maybe
baby
he convinces you.
Yeah, whatever the
Some
heck.
people are
I'm not
convincing.
responsible for that.
Yeah.
This thing of saying men. No. I don't do that. You know? Certain men, that man does that.
Yeah.
Then we must be straight about that.
Yeah.
Because in a real world, nobody's innocent of anything. To point a finger at just certain group and to actually, to be judged in that way. I'm lacking the word for it, but to be judged in that way, which okay,
to be stereotyped.
men does that. We can say a lot of things about women that are also not good, but the important part is that they're also people. They're also trying to figure out certain things, and mostly they're not even aware of their own action that leads to those things. I think that's the conversation that we should be having. Otherwise, it's not going to solve anything, because it's the same conversation that men, you can't tell anybody what to do.
True.
Regardless of what you can. So to say, okay, I'm going to have an advice for mental health, it's just an exercise in fertility. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'll feel good about it because I said it, which is also another problem. That people, when they say something and certain people agree with them, they feel like, oh, something has changed. But no. It's just you feeling.
Yeah.
In reality stays the same.
Yeah.
Here, you see what I mean? Me and you right now are having a conversation.
And it's going really well. And
I cannot be held reliable for some guy somewhere who decides to do something to his girlfriend. You know what I mean? As much as I see with why we should do certain things, but honestly, you can't judge people like that. You know, you can't say men are trash. When you're saying men are trash, you have a son, you have a father. Who are you referring to?
Oh.
You know what I mean? You have all these things. You have cousins, you have brothers.
Oh, you have it.
Yeah,
or you
normally-
have a decent man,
But you're gonna.
but you're still going
You know
ahead.
what I mean? You're not
saying-
even aware of your own self. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Until everyone is aware of their own selves, there's no point in anything, even in any discussion that's happening. At least that's my point of view. You know? And I think I'm proven right in a sense with how much money will be wasted on this, how many rallies will be held, but nothing changes. Everything just remains the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, trying a failed technique again and again, and they get into these rallies. They go to the rallies and they say, okay, they'll pray to God to actually help men, and but God sees everything. That's where everything goes. At all times. He's the only one that's actually capable of actually holding that from happening. But they're the one that will pray to, not to say anything against God, but the logic of it, So it's a vast, and I cannot even begin or even claim to say I made any my words right now make an impact as far as gender violence. But Doug, I just think that until everybody learns to think for themselves, nothing else matters.
Well said. I want us to move right along to part of your life, which is I guess it's dear to you,
Yeah.
which is writing and
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah.
Firstly, let's start with the basic.
Yeah.
Where does your love for reading?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where it stems from.
Sure.
Where does it begin?
It did. I cannot tell you. I cannot pinpoint say, but sometimes I think about it. I think when I was still like in high school, I remember reading a book. I can't even remember what it's all about, but it was called Enthusiasm.
Oh,
There was just not even at
was
school.
the author?
I can't remember. And I haven't even looked. You know, they were still in high school, just out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and one other part that I recently thought about in high school, we're in a class, you know, we're making noise, and the principal comes through. He just stares through the window, and he comes through in the front door. We're boarding, and he writes the word heart, and it says, anyone who gives me 20 words out of this word without repeating a letter is going to get a can of Coke.
Wait, without repeating a letter
the
in
word heart.
wait.
You know, you have to understand the school that I went to. First, before you understand it,
Yeah.
it's not multiracial schools.
Yeah.
My school fees was 62 rand a year, so you know, with
Semakai.
dog.
Yeah.
So this guy comes in. He was very smart. You know, he was one of, you can today probably call, what do you call this guy, Ned? You know, you can, you say he was a Ned. So yeah, he comes through, he's like, he wrote that word in like hearts. And it says, okay, anyone in class. One guy stood up, he already got the 20 word, but I think he repeated the word he repeated. Then I stood up and I got it right. So when I look at back at the time, that's why I realized the power of words and how you can actually, you know what I mean? That, you know? So yeah, and then I moved to EMP. When I got to EMP, I could not make a sentence in English. When I say I could not have this conversation with you in English. You know what I mean?
How old are you at this point?
I'm finished metric.
You're done with metric?
I'm done with metric. You know, and the thing is,
And you cannot have a conversation.
Yeah, like it's remember myself in the next door neighbor, coloreds, whites, and Indians. Well, like we're good in soccer, so yeah, we went to go play soccer with them, and we were very good. Me and my other brother, not the one that you know. So yeah, you know, and we're good, and we became friends. So every time we'll hang out, so I would chill there. I'll hear them talk. I can hear what they're saying, but the problem is saying something back.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, by the time I'm translating with those from Zulu to English,
the conversation is
gone. You know what I mean? So that's why English started biting me. Like, okay, I have to know this language, you know. And from there, I started like watching. Like I watched TV. Like this time I used to watch watch soaps, but mainly for English. So then I'll jot it down. You know,
yo, dog.
I jotted down.
You literally would sit
like
down
I
and
used to have a stack of like two choirs, dog. You know, and and then I did that. Like, you know, okay, that's how you say things in simple terms. Instead of saying, I need to go release myself, or I need to go no, dog, I need to take a leak. Simple as that, and you're gone. You know what I mean? So, like, okay, all right, so you have to speak in simple terms, you know? Yeah, and I'm sure those guys will laugh. No, but the nice thing about them is that they never actually laughed. They never made me feel awkward. They're still friends, and some of them are still some of my best friends in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah, they never make me feel awkward, you know, because it was the whole, like, you have white, black, colored, and white. So, you know.
When you're telling the story, you're taking me back to when I first moved to boarding school.
Sure.
This was primary school. And I didn't know a single word.
Sure.
Nothing. Zero.
Yeah. So you can definitely relate.
The other time, so I was crying in class. Yeah. So I was crying because ngangikhumbule ekhaya.
Showcase.
So I'm used to being at home full time.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm in boarding school, I have to be away from home.
Showcase.
And so I'm not used to that. So my ngikhumbule ekhaya, I remember the activities, what we'd be doing at this time.
And
that happened to be when I was having those thoughts, I was in class and I started crying.
Sure.
And so my teacher then asked, like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
I'm like, ish, gizotin.
Yeah.
I'm tool. She's like, are you okay? Tool.
Sure.
Are you fine? Are you sick? Hey, I'm like, sick. Ngangalizwa lelo gama lelo. But angizazi till chaza ukuthini.
Sure.
They're like, is your stomach sore? Do you have a bese kuba khona uclassmate oyedwa ethi,
Sure.
he's got a stomach ache, ma'am.
Yeah.
Athu abuzo miss. Is your stomach sore? Hey, angazi stomach, but ngiyakhumbula abantu stomach. I chew with my mouth.
Shocking.
Wow.
Shocking.
The guy's stomach.
Sure.
Asikhombe to sis. I'm like, yebo.
What else? What else, dude? What else? You know? Yeah.
Then that's the only way I could go cry at the toilet.
Yeah.
But, you know, I understand. And I mean,
definitely.
here you are. You're well within your teen years.
Yeah.
Probably in your 20s. And
Who, me?
At
that time.
Because you're done with high school. And
Yeah.
And
I think I was 17 when I
like
finished
this
school,
is
yeah.
when you start like trying
and there I was. Then after that I moved here to Devon. I think it was 2 or 3. Went to DT. I was still obsessed with that. I never used to attend class. I go to the library, just read books, and I'll read a book that I don't even know what they're saying, but I'll read it to the end. But whatever I can pick up, especially quotes, you know what I mean, like quotes and whatever I could understand, I'll pick up. And as I said, I have a lot of those. You know,
2 choirs where you were self-teaching.
Lost, but you know, whatever I learned from them, I think some of it's still in my head. Yeah, and that's where it started. I read books just to know English, but I discovered life. You know what I mean? It was just an indirect roots to it. Like all of a sudden it's not even more about English. Now I'm curious about language. It's very nice when you're gonna read an author that's very good with words and his craft. You're like, wow, I like how you twist that. But mostly it's just the lessons, like exactly where you're getting it, life-wise, and your point of view, you know. And it actually expands your mind in more ways than one, you know. So I can't really so there was the start or the end, but that's what I can pretty much remember clear, you know.
So basically, while you are learning how to read and speak in English, you also taught yourself ukubhala because you had to take down notes. So I guess it came as a package.
And of course you get to a point where I think every writer gets to that point where you're like, okay, there's certain things that are not said. You know what I mean? And they need to be said. And you look at the state of the world, you cannot help but worry at one point or another. And, you know, you can see how people think. Because most of my writing, it focuses on the mind. You know what I mean? I think most people just walk around, they don't realize the power of the thing they carry in their head. You know what I mean? They just think it's someone else's fault, it's something there. But actually, that thing that's between your eyes, it's a hot quarter of your life. You know what I mean? And if you're not aware of it, it doesn't matter what you're aware of. You know what I mean? But you won't feel like it's missing, of course.
So I take it you're reading a lot of self-help books.
No, definitely I don't.
Oh, you don't?
Those were the first that I actually read. It wasn't actually in the sense that I needed help, but you know when you cannot get books that someone will recommend and books that are. But I don't read self-help books because they're trying to tell you that life is this and life is that. But there's no manual for life, and it's also a problem if you're gonna come with a plan. A fixed plan, let me put it that way. It's very hard for a mind to divert, and you know, it's like a train. You can't just hitchhike a train. You can't say stop. Once it's going, it's going. And most of self books, it's I think those that write them, they do help. I'm not gonna lie. Those that need that help, you know, but they also have a tendency to fix the brain into one spot. Which if it didn't happen that way, that means I'm doing something wrong. While life lies way beyond even words. There is no words anybody can say they can describe life or give an idea how to live life. You know what I mean? There is no system that any man can conceive that will suit, that will make life all right. That you have to understand. It doesn't have to hurt you. You just have to understand and accept because it's a fact. You know what I mean? As much as I hate to say certain things are fact, but I'm convinced by things that are saying, well, no, actually, and that is life, because life is not humans. Life is
That
life.
is everything.
Yes.
Everything
Yeah,
we see.
it might seem to run parallel, but we're not going to the same destiny. You know what I mean? It has its own destiny. It has its own reasons. And evidence of that is everywhere. It's just that you need an eye to see them. I mean, for example, here we are. I'm sitting across you. We never thought it was possible. It's never something that you actually sat down and planned.
Yeah.
It was just a coincidence. You met Spindle, and if I was not a boyfriend, probably this would not be the case. You know what I mean? So it's just the fact that, okay, she's my girlfriend, and maybe the fact that we're still here up to this point. You know what I mean? There are a lot of things that play their own part. They're tiny, and to a point that they're invisible, but they create reality. And if you don't see those, as I said, it pretty much doesn't matter what you see.
So I wanna if you were to recommend like a book to or just like 3 books to a young man who's just about to finish high school or just finished high school, and they're at a point where they're not sure where they could, or maybe they see that there's something that I missed in school, just like how you saw in school I actually missed reading and writing, and which is led, but it's not to say you find it at the wrong time or you started at the wrong time, but I'm sure you feel if maybe you started earlier,
No, like I wouldn't recommend any book, because books that I'll probably recommend they were too big for their brain.
Nah, it's fine. Recommend them.
No, in this sense, but let me give you more reason right now. What I recommend is this.
Yeah.
This is pretty much a case of like you can drag the horse to the water, but you can't kind of force us to drink. I would not recommend any book, but I'll just recommend reading. Regardless, you know what I mean? Because if I recommend a book, I'm already some kind of in charge of your life. I'm telling you what to think and what to see. I want the decision to come from you. If you see something that agreed with, but by all means read. You know what I mean? Whatever you read, from the first page to the last page, when you're done, you're not going to be the same. You improve and carry on reading and find out. That's what I can recommend instead of recommending a book. You know what I mean? I don't like those things. I just, even myself, I don't really feel like I started late. I think I started at a time when I should have started, because I believe in fate that things happen for a certain reason, which lies way beyond your understanding. And leave them at that, because you're going to go crazy if you're going to try to understand that, you know, and make peace with that. So, I'd rather recommend reading than say read this book and read that book. No, if you can make an initiative, if you find it within yourself that you actually want to know something, regardless of what it is, it could be a science book, it could be anything. But if I would even recommend, maybe pay much more attention to the historical figures and try to study their mind and why they thought how they, because they're the one that shape your minds today. Rather do a homework on how you became the you that you think you know, the you that you post on Facebook and say, the you that you say I'm doing me. Rather do a homework on how you became that. Study the things that you believe in, maybe beside the book, start questioning yourself in a sense. Why you feel that way you feel, why do you deem certain things as right, I think beyond recommending anything, it's just learn to ask questions, just to ask things, and mostly yourself, and because I really do believe in before you know anything, rather try to know yourself, because everything that you try to know is actually somehow somewhere within you. The world lives, it's in your head, because actually your idea of the world is not out there, it's only in your head. It might be similar. You might meet friends that share the same idea as you, but they don't share them for the same reason as you. Exactly like fingerprints. Fingerprints look alike, but they are different. Even twins don't think the same thoughts. So, that's where you realize that life is actually personal. So that's where we probably can start. And then, Anything else can follow.
You're speaking about like knowing about people knowing themselves.
Yeah.
I took a different route to understanding that.
Yeah.
Knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And the route that I took was through physical training.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, if I can't handle myself,
definitely.
how am I going to handle anything in life?
Exactly.
If I am going to say I cannot go running because it's too hard, what am I running with?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm running with my legs.
Yeah.
So if I cannot use my legs for my own benefit, then what am I going to do that's going to be a success?
Exactly.
Or that's going to be of my benefit in life?
Yeah.
And that's like one quality or trait or most important structure of life that's not taught to us African kids.
Yeah, and not African kids. You see, when we come to that,
I speak about us because that's what I understand more than anything.
It also gives a wrong impression in a sense that anyone who's listening, and most people can't really think or reading between the lines. It's not African kids. It's all kids, and it's whether we can say 90% of people in the world. You know what I mean? Once we say African, are always against that. It's the same thing that our people do. Oh, you black people. Oh, you black. No. Look at the structure of how the word is structured. And, they'll talk about, oh, yeah, you are violent. You are this. But you're like, wait a minute. In comparison to whom? Okay, white people. You're talking about white people that build a nuclear bomb that can just wipe us all. But you're going to talk about violence. Who has more capability in the inch to be more violent? You talk about me fighting you or stabbing you, and then you're going to say I'm violent, but you're totally ignorant about somebody who's capable of ending life as you know what I mean? And you think that should be a role model or how? No. These things need to be atomized, but to be put in perspective into small pieces so that it can be digested. There's no point in trying to eat the whole elephant. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's how subject.
It's not topics that we should generalize.
Yeah, and this thing of black people, this should kind of end even in our own heads, because we're not as worse as we think we are. Go to the Middle East, most of them are fighting each other. Not Korea, not going along with South Korea. White people, Jews are not getting along with everybody. Everybody has their own thing. You know what I mean? Even in China, not all Chinese get along. Not all Indians get along. In India, there's full, standards. I think unless it's a caste or whatever they call it. You have the best ones and all the way down. They don't treat each other like, you know what I mean? Yeah, so how would we expect that from ourselves? We are also people, and I don't really like those parts. When somebody says, "Oh, yeah,
as black people,"
as people, I mean, everything that we do, others do, and it's just that when we talk about things, we zoom in on ourselves because our outlook of the world. It's the community. We just see the community. We don't see everything else. When I take this glass in hand and put it on my hand like this is all I can see, right? Because it's here. It blocks out the whole world. You know what I mean? It seems the biggest because it's closer. You know what I mean? Blocks it. They're the very same thing that happens in our mental state when we're going to talk about the issues that affect almost everything.
You're making me think different about a lot of things now.
Yeah, no.
Because there's a lot of things or habits that we've carried throughout history.
Yeah.
And because we carry those things or habits, because we say that's who we are. Even though we can see what's okay, maybe this thing is not really good for all of us.
Yeah.
Let's just say it like that.
Yeah.
But nobody is stepping up to say, we need to change this,
Yeah.
or let's try something different.
Yeah.
But it's like through those stereotypes, everyone which is like,
Yeah,
it's okay
it's like,
for us to conform to that.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
accept
much it's pretty much that, and the it's not something you can wake up to. Like one day you wake up like, yeah, you have to actually pay attention to how everything else works, and and be true to them, like your outlook of them, be honest. But I don't think I do think that the best of lesson you can get is from yourself. Look at your own prejudice, look at your own hate and your likes. Why do you like that? Like there are a lot of black people right now that can complain about racism, but if they were whites, they'll be racist.
No,
it's just an example.
Just being black, like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everyone is racist.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
I do believe that as black people, when I say us, this is me, including myself in there. There are instances where somebody can say, you are being racist, but because I'm black, and the world has accepted that, because
it's
for so many years the majority of the world has been so racist against black people.
You know what I mean?
So
it's the same thing that happening with gender-based violence. All of a sudden, it's just men that are guilty of it, but women are also capable of it, because wherever there's an abuse, it's a matter of power, and whoever holds power is the one that's actually capable of abusing. You know what I mean? And the world is changing right now, where women are actually getting a lot of power. If you go to any mall, you see a lot of people that are hired there, mostly women. And okay, fair enough, they're higher position while still men. You know what I mean? But on general team, where we at, it's mostly women that get hired, and you know what I mean. That's power. That's empowering them. And once they earn that much money, and you can't tell them anything. If one pays for everything in our house, you can't tell them anything. Fair enough. And even if it's besides that point, if the argument ensures, the sharpest tool a woman have is her words and her mouth. You know what I mean? Those are sharp. But a harsh word is much as, well, this is psychologically, it's much hurtful. Because all pain goes to the brain, right?
Yeah.
It's as hurtful as a slap. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So everybody should actually protect. No, it's like, it's not to say men should or should not do this. No, it's actually wrong in any level. It's wrong to be in that relationship, but to actually do that, to be abusive to anybody for that matter. But even the victim or a victim to be must also ensure you don't become the first abuser, because the first thing you're going to say whatever you need to say. I'm human after all. You know what I mean? Rules are rules, laws are laws. You know what I mean? But they're not here. Nothing stops me from killing you. You have to understand that.
True.
Nothing stops me from that. You know? So if the best way to protect yourself is to actually look with the person you're in, and also guide yourself. Not in the sense that you are submitting, and if you find yourself in a position where you have to, it's simple, leave then. You know? Find whatever, because here, if I have to have an argument with you, you're a buff guy, you go to gym. If I'm going to keep pissing you off, you know what I mean? You're going to do what you have to do.
I'm not violent like that, but
no.
I know a lot of people who would.
No, you might not be violent, but here's the thing. You might try to calm down. You're like, no, brother, I persist up to a point where whether you are violent or not, you definitely have to defend yourself. You know what I mean?
True.
And every time someone insults you, they insult you by the things that they know they will definitely hate. And that person is someone that's very close to you.
True.
These are some of the reasons that gender-based violence actually happen, but they're never discussed. You know what I mean? They do happen, and it's very sad to say it, and just everything's just it's
we just come to a conclusion.
That conclusive outlook of it, But I really do think if there's any solution to it, is for everyone else to actually think for themselves. No, if you're gonna provoke someone like that, they will, one way or another, because the man, a man will not be. It's the same example I was saying. If we're gonna go back forth with words, eventually we're gonna fight. There won't be a gender-based violence, right? It would just be a fight between two men. But now, if you're with a woman out-talk men most of the time. She's still talking and you talking. Eventually, you'll do what you would have done to me if I kept talking. You know what I mean? So this is just one of scenarios. This is one of them. It's not all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of them. And secondly, we also have to understand that beside what laws may say, we are still pretty much animals. We are being civilized. And some people, their nature don't allow that. You know what I mean? And thirdly, there's something called fate, which is above all of that. That could happen to you because it was fated to happen to you, regardless, because it would have not happened to you unless it was meant. You know what I mean? All those things, the subject that were never discussed, because they will not give anybody, they won't comfort anybody.
Yeah, no one's going to get comfort of that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever happened, because if you think about it, nobody likes to go to jail.
True.
No man would like that. And there is no glory in it. When you're saving so many years just because it's not something that you can say you put like, yeah, I wanted it. You know what I mean? It's not something you can hold high, So you must understand that there's some psychological or certain way of thinking that will need to be fixed, or if it can't be fixed, because either way, something lies beyond our own thinking. I might be talking like this the next day I might be accused of the very same thing that I'm talking about, because life has more power over us than our own thinking. And situations happen in a way that you never understand. And you ask me, what happened, dog? I thought you got this. I'll tell you, I don't know. Have you never met with people? I don't know what happened, dog. I just lost it. Kind of a thing, because life has that power. You also have to be aware of those things. As a victim, whether you're man or female, you also have to understand what's okay. Other people, when you push them, they might get to that point where they get lost. Or certain thought, way of thinking might get lost. So don't push.
So don't go. Try and find a way not to go.
Because rather focus on that. Like, what is it? It's not something that cannot be solved. Whatever it is.
And it doesn't need violence to solve.
Yeah, and certain they are natural built that way. They are violent in their nature. We cannot keep denying that part. Like all animals in the zoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not much different. Other people are
hyena is
simple,
a hyena.
Yeah. Other people are simple violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no logic. Not that there's no logic. Their logic is violence. You know what I mean? And as a victim of, you should understand the man that you're dating. You know what I mean? If I want to get out myself out of the way, let me get out myself out the way. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's pretty much like that, or at least this is how I view it.
Yeah. Bro, I think we're at the last stages of this podcast. But before I let you go, I don't know. This is me. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Since I know that you're somebody that writes.
Yeah.
Is there any material that you'd like people to go look at, or that you have coming on the way? Yeah. Or that you're working on?
Currently, I'm working on a novel. I had to make it fiction. Non-fiction, I've done that in the past. So right now I'm working on a non-fiction. It's a novel. I'm hoping I'll finish. I take my time when I write, because I also have to. I'm also aware that it's a lot of people's lives. You know what I mean? And you have to be very, very careful with words. Yeah. So yeah, it's a novel. That's how I'll do. But currently, I've wrote two short stories. One was based on COVID-19 itself, but it was also fiction. That was for News 24. There was a conversation they were running there. I haven't seen who won or who didn't, so I don't know what's going on there.
But if we want to see that, where can we see
I don't have a website there. I don't have anything there, but I can give you my
YouTube book.
Yeah, no, I have not that. Yes, I knew that what I would expect, But I'll work on that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not an excuse. It's what I do. I spend more time trying to know things and trying to, than trying to promote them. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't think it's the right thing to just tell people things unless you know them yourself personally. So maybe I spend more time in a lab. You know what I mean?
Experimenting.
But yeah, sure. Anyone who wants them, I can give probably. Well, on Facebook, you can check me out. You can inbox me, and I can rather email the story to you and check it out. I would really appreciate the response with your point of view on it.
So you're saying if people want your material, they can hit you up on Facebook,
and because that's the only social media that I have.
Okay.
You know.
So Facebook, your Facebook handle, Uba.
It's Bornwell Cross Mzileni. That's BORNWEWL cross, not CrossBed, but CROSS Mzileni.
Okay.
But I'm sure if you type Bornwell Cross, you will find it there. So it should be there, and you can inbox me and I can send you the story, and we can have whatever exchanges, because I also like people feedback and their thoughts on it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Are you looking for a publisher? No, you just like strictly like handling it how you.
I will have to look for a publisher, but not someone. It's also a complicated word, because everyone tries to censor, everyone trying to narrow how you should write and how your material should be received. Which is more like when you go to a butcher, those top class butcheries, and they say no fat. It's more dark. We need food.
The fat.
It have to be there. I like it that way, because the books that I read, I like that. But then they want to, they would like to chop certain that this is not necessary. But my argument to that, because most of my characters, as I said, but mostly I highlight the mind. You can't control what the mind would think and what the mind will not think. You don't even know your next thoughts until it actually hits you. You know what I mean? Not a thought after it, but I'm sure you forgot 10 thoughts before even this thought. So things like that. Because, as I said, this novel that I'm writing is much more trying to highlight that your mind, and actually be careful of it, the things that you put it in. They don't call it a food of thought for nothing. You know what I mean? If you're gonna live on takeaways, your body, better. I don't have to finish that line.
I know. Yeah. So when can we expect the novel?
I cannot give it time for it.
Okay, I know. It's not fucking pressure.
Beside pressure.
That
I cannot give it time for it. But if I don't do it this year, I don't think I'll do it again. I just have to. I think it's ripe time right now.
Yeah. No. Brother, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you, dog.
Thanks. I don't know if I left out anything. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience?
Things will always be left out. Things will always be left out. So it's all good.
I like your mind,
Thank
bro.
you, man.
I like your mind.
Showcase, man.
Once again, it's been a dope episode.
Yeah.
Check out Bornwell on Facebook. As I said, if you need his stories, he'll personally email you. Imagine.
We'll have the exchanges.
And authors gonna email you. They work directly to your email address. You heard it here on the GNPS. Shout out to everyone behind the camera. Tiny holding us down, doing the things. Shout out to Spindile for putting this together. And shout out to my mate Upilo who pulled through.
I haven't mentioned that. I got my younger brother. Yeah, that's good. Man, I love that.
Shout out to everyone who's showing love and support to the GNPS. If you're a first-time viewer, please subscribe. If you subscribe, if you don't like to subscribe, hit the like button. At least, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, man.
Otherwise, catch us next time. Stay safe. Peace.
My man.
Thanks.